Hello, composers. I keep getting this question, which seems very obvious to me. But apparently, it's got quite a lot of you in a quandary. When is a song finished? Ah, the mysterious ending. When can we call a song fini, done, ready for publication, ready for distribution, ready for engraving, ready for licensing, and other things we might talk about on another YouTube channel? Here are some ways I might answer this question that apparently plagues the masses around the world. How do you come up with an ending? Number one, it's done when I say it's done. Now, what do I mean by this? I mean, it's done when I feel it is done. I know that's not a great answer. I think a great ending comes when we are ready to end, when we get to a place that we go, I feel conclusion here. I feel that it's done. Listen, we are working on these songs and we are composing them. We are the composer. You are the composer. So that means that you can decide when it's done, and whenever you decide, it is the right decision. So when I decide it's done, when I feel it's done, it's going to be done. Also, if I'm bored in the song, if I've gotten to a place where I'm just not interested in the song at this point and continuing anymore, then it's probably done. It's probably time to finish the song and come up with a final cadence and a final chord and just end that sucker. Also, in this same thing, it's done when I say it's done because it has to be done, because it's time for it to be done, because a client needs it, a brief needs it. I need to get this song out and moving on. It's time for it to be done. I need to come up with an ending and just end it. And this moves into number two. It's done when it's time to be done. Now, this might have to do with what I was just talking about, where you have a client and they have a deadline, or you have a brief and you have a deadline, or you know you need to get a song out and you want to finish it. So maybe it's time to put the closing chords on it because you've got to finish this thing and move on with your life. But a lot of times it is because of a client or a brief, or for some reason that we say, hey, this needs to be the end. I need to finish this song and put an ending on it, and that's when it's done. Another thing that might define when it's done is the genre. Is this for a 30-second commercial? Well, guess what? It's done at 30 seconds, or it has to be done at 30 seconds. Is this a 60-second? It doesn't need to be done in 60 seconds. Is this a piece that they said, make this no longer than 2 minutes? Well, then 2 minutes in, it's got to be done, my friends. So sometimes the genre can help you decide how long the song needs to be. And if you've gotten to a certain part of the song, it's time to figure out an ending. For pop music, this could be 2 to 3 minutes long. And in the old days, we used to say 3 minutes and 30 seconds or less for radio play. Now it's way under 3 minutes. But I think if you're at 4 or 5 minutes and you haven't ended the song yet, then my friends, it's time to figure out an ending for this thing and put a period on this song and finish it up. The genre can have something to do with this. Now, this is classical, this is jazz. It could have a longer running time of some kind, but the key here is that you need to make sure that you are getting the song done in the time it is allowed. In other words, the genre is telling you, I need it to be this long, and that's when you can start to decide where the ending should be. Number three, it's done when it's done all it can do. A lot of this has to do with form. If you have started a song, then you know it's going to be an A-B song, a verse and a chorus and a verse and a chorus, maybe an intro and an outro. Well, that lets you know where your ending is going to be. You don't have to do much deciding. If you know you have to do an intro and then you want to make a verse or an A section and then a B section, and then come back to an A section again, another verse, and then final B section and some kind of ending chord or ending outro or ending at the end of that chorus. So the form is really what defines where the ending is going to be. At the end of that last chorus or second chorus, or sometimes if you double that second chorus because it's got energy brewing. But again, sometimes you'll also know, oh, this has to be a 2-minute-ish type of piece. I've got to put an ending about right here. If it's another form, if it's like A and then you have this like B section, this little change section, and then you come back to the A and that's the end, well, then again, the time of the song, the whatever the duration that you need this song to be, 2 minutes, 60 seconds, whatever that is. That lets you know, okay, I got to get this A and this B and this A done, and then inside of this amount of time. And I think really maybe this time and genre are the two main ways that you can decide when is the song done? When am I going to finish? You also have to remember that people have very short attention spans. They are ready for your song to be over. When a song is done, time-wise, then let it be done, and quit trying to extend it just because you like playing the chords over and over, or you just like the way the little loop sounds over and over. Guess what? That's you. That is probably not what the audience wants out of this particular song. Okay, so what was I talking about? I've forgotten. Oh yeah, attention spans. Very important to make sure that if you've lost interest in this song and the song has done all its things it's going to do, its verse and its chorus and its verse and its chorus, end that song. Okay, let's talk about how do you know when a song is done arrangement-wise? How do you know when you've added everything that you need to add to this song? Well, to me, that's pretty simple. If you've got chords, bass, percussion, and you've got some ear candy in there, do not go crazy. More is not always more. Sometimes less is more. If it's a piano-based thing, probably don't want to get too crazy and add 1,000 instruments to this thing. If it's orchestral, well then that kind of defines what you're going to have to do for that song. You're going to have to add in orchestral instruments across all the families of instruments, from basses and cellos and violas and violins in the string section, to percussion things in the percussion section, to brass instruments and what you would normally hear in an orchestral brass, which is trumpet, trombone, horn, and tuba, not necessarily in that order. And also in the wind section, flute, clarinet, oboe, bassoon, and then any other extraneous winds you might want to add. But that's how you know you have pretty much the orchestral thing done. You can do that with a pop song as well. Do I have drums, bass, guitars, keys, some ear candy? I might be done. For a jazz trio, that's easy to know. I need drums, I need upright bass, and I need piano. Done. Or maybe upright bass, drums, and guitar. You can choose that instrumentation and make those decisions before you even get going and know when you're going to be done. Sometimes though, you might get done with a jazz trio song and say, it just needs that one little thing. And so maybe some vibes or some bells or something. But again, less is more, as less as you can put in it to make it do all the things it needs to do. Now, again, this can be a thing that is going to be personal taste, but also remember, less is more. People's attention spans are short. They don't care that you put 40,000 instruments in this. All they care about is they like it or they don't like it. So be careful of that and know it's done arrangement-wise when it's done arrangement-wise. Again, remember, it's done when you say it's done. Make the decision as the composer when it's done and what it is. The brief, the client, or the particular genre you're writing, you know what kind of time span that's going to be, and you know when it needs to be done. It's done when it's time for it to be done. The form will pretty much tell you, oh, I did an A section, a B section, an A section, that's all I want to do. I need to put an ending right here. And remember, people's attention spans are short. They get bored easily. Speaking of attention spans, there's probably nobody even watching this video at this point. So this video needs an ending. I hope this has helped you figure out how to finish your compositions and then get them out there, for goodness sake. That is, if you got started composing in the first place, which, starting, how do you start? Well, that's a whole other video, isn't it? If you like this kind of thing, make sure you subscribe and be part of our monthly reviews that we have, free reviews right here on the channel. And make sure that you watch this video right here too. Goodbye, composers.